Are we good? Can you guys hear me? All right, good deal, good deal. All right, well, good evening. Thank you so much, Daryl, for the introduction. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. It means so much to me and Melissa and the Simpler team. I know that all of you have so much to do, and for you to, a lot of you probably are members as well, and you've spent the whole day with us. And I hope that you had an amazing day today.
Recording in
I know that we
progress.
did. Yeah, so just thank you so much for being here. Before we get started, though, can I see a show of hands of how many of you all do not know who Melissa and I are? And then, if some of our members are in here, could you just go ahead and raise your hand and say hello? I would really appreciate it. And yes, hi, Debbie. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you guys. Where's everybody from? Right? I'm sitting out in Florida, by the way. I just watched the sunset. It was beautiful. Where's everybody from? Texas, Arizona. I want to see sunny. Okay, Tennessee. Going to Tennessee soon, by the way. Colorado. That's where I came from, baby. I love Colorado. Yeah, California. Want to get back out there. It's absolutely beautiful. Las Vegas. Hopefully, we'll be there in February for the money show. Yeah, awesome. New York. Wow, Mel. Maybe we need to go back to New York. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Thank you. Thank you for saying hello, man. That takes a lot of pressure off of me, right? Just
New
kidding.
York sounds good. When we want
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. Hey, whenever you want to. I mean, we're here for you guys, and you're going to see that tonight. We're all about our members. We're all about the passion that you guys are seeking. We're all about making you guys more successful traders. And one thing that I really want to hone in on tonight, Melissa, is making sure that everybody understands this is not one of those challenges where I'm trying to tell you we're going to take you from 10,000 to 100,000 in 30 days. If it happens, that's awesome. But what we're striving is for consistency, confidence, and discipline. And I have to tell you, I feel really, really hyped up about it, Mel, because I know you and I do such a damn good job that I feel super confident that people will walk away from here and go, that's some of the best training education that I've ever gotten from trading.
Yeah, I
So I'm
love
just, yeah,
that. I'm all
yeah.
about the discipline. You know that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is right. That is her middle name. That is for sure. And anybody in here that knows Melissa will tell you that. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started here with a disclosure. I'm going to read a little bit of it just in case you don't know what this means. Option trading can involve substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. The information provided here is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as a recommendation or investment advice. And I like this one down here. We cannot and will not guarantee that you will make money or that you will not lose money from the information found in this course. Basically, what we're saying, guys, is trading has its risk. I think we all know that. But one thing that we pride ourselves on is the training methodology actually allows you to understand what your risk is going to be before you take a trade. This is huge for us, okay? All right. Well, my next picture, this is if you don't read that disclosure, you don't have discipline, you don't understand what consistency looks like. You could find yourself in this picture. I made this picture as well. I'm very proud of my picture making skills, but I have to be really honest with you guys and very personal with you for a second. This guy, when I look at him, it actually makes me super sad. But I found myself in that same position many, many years ago. I didn't have the skyscrapers. I didn't have the beautiful office. I actually found myself, and a lot of you might have heard this story before. I found myself in a shower as a grown man, like really upset. And I tell people I cried. And I don't ever want that to happen to anybody. And I know that Melissa doesn't want that to happen to anybody. And that's why we're so damn passionate. If you have found yourself at a loss or even you just want to make things better, we are here for you and we're going to make sure that we teach you the methodology that I believe can make you a better trader. Okay. What I want for you is for you to look like this. You don't have to look like me, right? I know I look funny, but here's the thing is that I want your portfolio, as our mentor John Carter would say. He says a lot of it really hinges on looking at your y axis. Does your portfolio start over here? And is it making its way up to the right hand side? This is very important because, yeah, this year you could say that it was really easy, Melissa, when you look back at the 5 months, but I don't think it was that easy. Do you guys think that it was quite, don't you think it was a little bit difficult back in, what was it, like March, April timeframe, Mel? Where
You
things got
mean
like
when family and friends were calling wanting to cash out of their 401(k)s? Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, and that was the truth of the matter. And but the cool thing is I had a plan and we started that in 2024. I had already told our members, I gave them a projection for 2025. I said, this is where we're going by the end of the year, but I don't feel comfortable. And I want you to pay attention. If you look at that time frame on my portfolio, you don't see that it took a big dip. Matter of fact, I was accumulating as we were going down. And I tell you what, Mel, I mean, not only did we hear of like people wanting to jump out of their 401s and that type of stuff, I actually had people reach out to me personally and say, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm following my plan, baby." It's a process, and that's exactly what we did. We accumulated as prices moved down to the trendy edge, which is a trendy buy zone. The next picture that I want to show you is Melissa. All right. And this is Mel, and we're going to talk more about her here pretty shortly. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the background story, how I found her, and how I met her, and how she is my partner in crime. As far as trading is concerned, she is absolutely amazing. She's close to me. I call her my sister. And I wouldn't be here without her. So thank you, Mel. Thanks for being here. And anybody in the audience that knows Mel, go ahead and give a shout out to Mel because I always feel like this is the moment, guys, that you need to understand if you're sitting out there and you're looking for proof or validation. She was a student of Simpler, and I found her, or she found me 3 years ago. And I'm here to tell you right now, nobody can have her. John Carter, if you're watching, you can't have her. She's ours. So yeah, this is her P&L, and it also, if you notice, guys, is at the lower left-hand side, and it goes all the way up to the upper right-hand side. Okay, so this is what consistency looks like. Of course, you're gonna see some dips in our portfolio. So I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, Melissa's gonna tell you, we are not perfect, okay? But what we are is consistent. And that's what you need to be looking for, especially with this volatility that's coming into the market. And I have to say, Mel, like, I really feel like we timed this perfectly, and I remember when I reached out to you, like, a couple months ago, I said, "I feel as if the market's going to come down, and we're going to need to put a challenge together," and, I feel like it's perfect. So
Yep, true story.
yeah, absolutely true story. So the next thing, here is what we're going to cover, and I want to make sure that you guys like have an agenda so you know what I'm talking about up here. And I'll take a breath if I'm talking too fast or anything like that. Just tell me to slow down and say, "Hey, John, could you go back and maybe tell me what you meant by that?" Okay. So this is what we're going to cover. You're going to get to know us. We're going to talk about the type of trades that we take so that you understand before you get into this challenge what you can expect. The trade examples. So we'll go over some trade examples, but I'll be the first to tell you, like, I don't want to put a bunch of trades out there because I believe that what you need to see is live action. I need to see you watch me teach, trade, and do all these things at the same time so that you feel very comfortable with what we're doing. I always say that my trades and my alerts are a proof of concept. So what you get to see is education. You get to see it live. And then when I take trades, boom, that's your proof of concept. After that, I'm gonna talk about trendy lifestyle, guys, because it really is a lifestyle. And then I want to talk about transparency because I come from a world of an Air Force background of 21 years, and transparency is a huge deal to me. The challenge details. What are you getting in the challenge? And then, of course, a lot of you guys want to come here for the special, and that is, if you are a member or you want to join as a member here in the Trendy Room, we have some specials for you at the end of this. And I know several of you have waited patiently, and I told you to wait for Wednesday. So here you are today. So thank you for being so patient with us. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. If you are struggling with these, and there could be a whole list of these: consistency in your trading, planning your trades. You don't know how to plan them. We're going to show you. Executing your trades. Maybe you don't want to execute because you feel fearful. Maybe the last person that you were under. You just had too many losses, and it's just not in your wheelhouse. You don't feel comfortable yet. We're going to get you there. We're going to bring that confidence back to you. Your risk management, super important. I mean, honestly, the secret to success, in my opinion, after you get through everything, learning how to trade, understanding indicators, and all that fun stuff, it all comes down to your mindset and your risk management. Allocation, big part of that risk management. Following losing trades. So, what I mean by that, if you're struggling with, let's say that your whole motivation was you had saw somebody and you thought, man, this person makes a lot of money. They do really, really well. I saw their trades and now I want to follow them. But for some reason, you fall into this groove where when you're following them, they're losing trades. Okay. And I want to I want to help you there because there's a lot of reason why losing trades can be losing trades. Maybe they're coming out too slow. And we'll talk about our API alerts here in a few minutes where they come out in milliseconds. So you get our exact trades from our brokerage account. They are linked to our brokerage account and go straight to you in milliseconds. And that is 100% transparent. It's from a real account. And that's what we pride ourselves on is that transparency. So most traders do have these struggles, but we're here to help you guys. That's what the challenge is all about, and that's what it's designed to do. Okay. So who is this challenge for? Basically, what it comes down to, guys, if you're a crypto trader, a swing trader, a positional trader, a futures trader, options trader, equity trader, maybe you're doing forex. This process is for all of you. I promise you that. So, a little bit about myself. When I was born, my name was Jonathan McKeever. I didn't come out and somebody called me trendy. I actually came up with that name when I was in the Air Force, and I'll explain it here a little bit later. I'm a retired Air Force veteran of 21 years. What does that mean to you guys, and why is that important when it comes to trading? Because I really am a big component of core values, integrity, service before self, and excellence in all I do. And that's exactly what they taught me in the Air Force. So every damn time I get up in the morning, I think about you and I think about what your expectations are, and I want to meet them. I am by far. I am a servant leadership. I am here for you. And Melissa would tell you back and forth that my passion is not about the money. It's about making sure that when you go home at night that you're happy. Because if you're not happy, Melissa will tell you. I'll call her and I'll be talking about how we can make you happy. Okay. I'm a father of three daughters. What does that mean when it comes to trading? Ooh, it means a lot. It means that I have patience, so much patience. All right. But it also means that I want to be a hero and I strive to sorry, it makes me like kind of teary. It makes me want to be a hero. And I want to be a hero for you guys. And I want to do that by showing you the right way to do things. Okay. The next thing is I am a passionate teacher and mentor. All right. We're going to talk about that. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it from the members. And the next thing is 12 plus years of trading. I contemplated whether or not saying this, but again, I'm transparent. I don't really think the number in front of that means a whole lot. I think that time in the chair does give you a sense of being in the market, but I also think that a big number in front of that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody is good at trading. All right, just because they have a lot of years of trading. They may be kind of stuck on an old way of trading and not really up with the new. And that is what, for me, 12 years, yes, it's great, but all the other things that I'm talking about are so important. What about beach enthusiasts? Why is that important? Because honestly, we live out here in Florida. I'm on the water. And I kind of look at the market as I'm going to be your mentor, but also your lifeguard. And what I mean by that is that it's my job to look at the conditions of the market and be able to help you understand that, hey, these conditions aren't necessarily the type of conditions that I would feel good about you going into the market today. Or maybe, hey, let's ride this wave. Let's have a really good time. It looks like risk is on and things are going to be okay. Okay. Next, what does trendy stand for? I told you that I wanted to talk about this. So it's actually an acronym, and when you're in the military, a lot of things are acronyms. TR3NDY. So what this stands for is the T equals trend, and a lot of what we do on our charts, we have Fibonacci that actually says what the trend is for the week, the day, and so forth. Then the R is range, and a lot of the trading that Mel and I are doing is sort of range trading, right? We're finding buy and sell zones within certain ranges. And so that might be like a daily range, and you may want your profits within a couple hours to a day. We're going to tell you where those areas are. If you're like me and you like to swing and leap trade, I'm going to look for those ranges based off a year or 5 years or even since the inception of the market. Okay. The 3 to 1, that's a number that I feel like loosely gets thrown around. Like, everybody tries to bring people in, they're like, "Hey, yeah, my risk is 1 and I'm gonna get you to 3." But what I noticed was a lot of people use that number, but without a process, you can't actually look at a screen, Melissa, and be like, without understanding where your targets are, understanding where zones are, it's hard to really understand how you get a 3 to 1, but we're gonna teach you how to do that. And then this is really important. N stands for no news. We are a no news kind of room. So if you're looking for people to give you the lowdown on why FOMC said these numbers or why the POTUS said this or anything like that, that is not us. We technically trade and we are passionate about it. The news is just a catalyst that pushes us to our price or to our levels, and then boom, we're taking the trade. And then D and trendy is demand and supply. You'll hear us talk about these. They are economic terms, and we talk about them, right? It's like we want to find where the big players are at. We want to find where the big sellers are, and we're able to do that by using Fibonacci, also candle structure, and all of these things, making it confluent. And then the very last thing is you, because without you and the right mindset, this stuff can become very difficult. And especially with all that noise, all that news, all that type of stuff that's going on, and with social media, the markets just really become a lot more difficult for a lot of traders. So even though we've been going up 5 or 6 months, Mel, it's not been the easiest for everybody, and
Not
so
at all.
yeah, so don't ever, like, feel like if you're having a hard time that something's wrong with you. There's just some things that we're going to teach you that can really help you out, okay? Now, I've talked about myself, I talked about what Trendy stands for, I've given you a little bit of information. Now I wanna give you a quick intro to Melissa. Melissa, found me when I was at Simpler. I was, a contractor, and I was working here. She heard some terms she'll tell you about, and, it attracted her to the Trendy methodology. But what I wanna talk about with Mel is that I saw your discipline, right? I always say something different during these. But I saw your discipline, and it really inspired me, and how dedicated she is to the process is absolutely inspiring. And what it does is it takes your methodology that you've been teaching for years, and then some miracle, someone comes by and starts doing everything that you just want to see in a student. And I was like blown away. And I knew that she was going to be my person, because I remember when I reached out to her and I said, are you actually trading these? Would you mind if we patched into your brokerage account and see your actual trades?" This girl didn't take more than 1 second, right? I remember it was in Discord, and I sent her a message. She replied right back and said, "Yep, no problem." And I tell you what, when you ask people if they can see your trades for real, they have a really hard time showing you, because they don't want to show you all the losers. But I tell you what, man, she wins a lot. We win a lot. Our methodology wins a lot. And I just trust her, and she's absolutely amazing. And that's enough from me. I'm going to let her talk about her story. Okay.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. You know how
Yeah.
much I love attention on me, but and all the awesome comments in the chat, I appreciate it. Seriously, I do. So you want to flip the slide, my friend? Maybe, maybe. All right. So, like John said, I was in your shoes 3 years and 3 months ago. I was a member of Simpler Trading. And honestly, I was having a great time. doing well. I was a member of what we called the day trading room back then, and John was a guest trader in there. And I was sitting in that room the first day that he came in, and I was listening to him, and he said two words. They were supply and demand. And a light bulb went off. Like when I tell you a light bulb went off, I like literally did this to my head because in school, I studied economics. That I love economics. And if you've ever taken any kind of economics class, you've learned all about supply and demand. It is what turns every monetary thing in this world. The price you pay for bread or toilet paper back during COVID, we all remember that. It all has to do with supply and demand. So, back in July of 2022, this man comes on and is like, so I get these zones and I use supply and demand. And that was my light bulb moment. And I'm like, why in the heck didn't I ever consider trading based on the key to all economics? So, fast forward that I went out on YouTube and binge watched. When I say binge watch, I literally binge watched all of Trendy's educational videos on YouTube. And the more I watched it, the more I was like, hey, I can do this. This is something that is black and white, cut and dry. It was just so clear to me that I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. So I committed to trading trendy, and I joined his Discord room at the time. And I sat back. I didn't chat in the chat or anything like this. And this is the coolest part about us doing an account challenge right now, because that is when I first spoke up in the chat. It was the very end of July of that year, and John was just casually talking on the mic, and he said, "You know what, guys? I'm going to challenge you to commit to one strategy of trading and trade only that strategy for 30 days. And I want you to journal all your trades and put them here in the room, your journals, so that we can all learn from each other." Well, I grew up playing sports. I'm a super competitive person. So the word challenge, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. I can do that. So I didn't think much about it. I still was very quiet, but I typed in the chat, yep, I'm up for the challenge. And just the person I am, he told me what to do, and I set out to do that. So I decided to focus on PMZ trades only. You'll learn more about PMZ later, but I decided to focus on PMZ trades only, and I was going to journal all my trades. And I did that. And after about a week, John, sends me a Discord message and is like, "Are you really taking these trades?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's what you told us to do." And he's like, "Yeah, but I've just never had anybody actually consistently journal the trades, and I've never had anybody be as consistent with the challenge as what you're being." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, this is me. This is what I do." So in that first 30 days of taking this challenge, let me back up. The first week, I was having trouble. And I'm going to tell you why I was having trouble. I was having trouble because I was not paying attention to the in trendy, the news part. I was still my same morning routine. I was going on Benzinga and I was reading all these reports about what they were expecting the market to do that day. And I was listening to all these YouTube videos at night, like I had always done. And I'll tell you what, I got all kinds of messed up in my head because I saw the level there that I was supposed to go long, let's just say, supposed to go long above, but all this noise was playing in my head and it would cause me to hesitate and not execute a trade. And so I went back and I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I found the video where he was talking about no noise. So I was like, done. No more YouTube at night, no more Benzinga. I have to block everything out. After I did that, my hesitation on executing went away because I just had levels in front of me and I traded those levels. 30 days later, the end of the challenge, I had more than doubled my account. Let me tell you, if you find a strategy to trade, with an amazing teacher and mentor, you go all in. And that's what I did. And a couple of months later, John calls me up and he's like, "Hey, how about if you join me on the mic?" And I was like, "Eesh, I'm not really that person. I'm more behind the scenes person, but yeah, I guess I could do that." And here we are. That is my journey to become a trader and teacher and mentor in the trendy trading room. None of it would be possible if I hadn't have found John here at Simpler 3 years and 3 months ago. And so I'm very, very thankful for that, John. You are my brother from another mother, for sure, for sure. So thank you for that. I have been trading options for 7 years now. I have been an investor for much of my adult life, over 25 years now of trading just equity. I have an equity account that is strictly just buying shares of stocks. You know, John talked about March, April timeframe, and I was never so excited as I was this year when all those Mag 7 stocks pulled back to lower yearly edges because let me tell you, I was sharing charts with our trendy trading room and I was like, guys, this is where we're buying, this is where I'm buying if you want to join me. And it's been amazing. We bought the dip and that equity account is doing fabulous. So I love trading equity. I love trading options. Recently, in the last year, I have a extreme fondness for day trading SPX. There's more to that story, and I will share it at a later date. But I am very active now in the SPX room that Trendy started about a year ago. I day trade SPX every day and I make good money doing it and I absolutely love it. If I'm being honest, it makes it hard to day trade anything else because SPX is just my baby right now. So, yeah. Discipline. Look, I'm a rule follower to a T, whether it's driving or trading or what have you, I follow rules. So discipline comes very, very naturally for me. So in my trading and in life in general. And that discipline is it's not about a secret indicator or a secret strategy or anything else. The discipline is what has led me to be able to double my small account over 8 times. You know, I can't stress that enough. I focus on teaching traders discipline and consistency. It is my passion. Money is just a bonus to that. I am absolutely, like John said, just like John, We are here for you. I want you to join us in this challenge, just like I joined John 3 years ago in that first challenge. I want you to join us, and I want us all to grow in our discipline and consistency.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Mel. And thank you for that story. It sounds like it resonates with a lot of people. And I wanted to. I absolutely wanted to. Because I think sometimes when we're sitting up here, it's hard for people. Like that story is incredible. It really is. And that's exactly how it went down. And I don't think it's like that everywhere. First of all, I'm super picky. Like you talk about militant. I am very, am I not, Mel? Like,
Y'all have no idea.
yeah, you have no idea. So I'm very strict about certain things. And what she didn't say is I probably went through about 5 or 6 different people before I met Mel, and there is absolutely nobody that came close. They were they tried, but you'd be surprised at the weird things that happen. You know, people can trade until you put them on a microphone and try to teach people. Like it just gets very interesting. But Mel is absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you for sharing that story. All right, guys. So, what is trendy methodology? I wanted this on here because I want to make sure that everybody understands. I typically will put a picture on here and draw for you, and I'm going to do that tonight as well. But I want you to understand what it's derived from. So, it's derived from Fibonacci's. All right. And I consider myself a fib master. I really do. There's a special way that I like to anchor the coefficients and line them up with candle structure and so forth. And what I see is it has changed thousands of people's lives. And I know that it can do the same for you. Trendy buy and sell zones, we're using structure in the market. Range identification, we talked about that just a few minutes ago. And really, at the end of the day, once you get all this down, it's total zen and it's really a mindset that you become a stronger trader. You're no longer thinking like the retail trader who's always scared and looking for news and those type of things that will create a bad trader habits, if you will. Here's one thing that I think is important. If you can learn to create a state of mind that is not affected by the market's behavior, the struggle will cease to exist. And that's from Mark Douglas. This is a picture of just this past summer. I was with my wife and my daughter, and we were in Italy. And I really, really love the lifestyle that Trendy creates. While I was gone, I did not trade. I did have my bots trading for me, but in this circumstance, I was able to get away and just enjoy my life. And I'll tell you, I enjoy it every day. I absolutely enjoy it. And I think this methodology is for anybody who's looking for something that will allow them to be free from the screens. Or if you want to stay in front of the screens, that's amazing too. Okay. All right. So the next is the type of trades. All right. You guys want to know the type of trades. Well, Melissa will tell you, I'll trade anything. All right. I literally will trade anything, meaning the names don't mean anything to me. It's about the setup, it's about the technicals, it's about the risk to reward. So for me, what's important for you all to understand is I will buy at the monies, I'll buy deep in the monies, I'll buy out of the monies, I'll buy calls, puts, and I love selling premium on SPX. Okay. So I do iron flies, I do butterflies. I do iron condors. I'll sell put credit spreads or just call credit spreads. We'll do debit spreads and so forth. I'm sort of love to dabble in all of that, and I find myself very good at it. Okay. Day trades include futures, and I want to put this out there right now. If you're not a futures trader and you're about to come into this room for a challenge, I would highly recommend that you reach out to your broker to see if you are able to trade futures because we will trade them every single morning for about 30 minutes on the open. Okay. So if you're finding yourself like maybe you're doing a prop firm and you're looking to pass your eval, Trendy Methodologies got you covered. Okay. So every single day, we're going to be looking at the ES futures and the NASDAQ futures as part of our morning routine. Okay. So make sure that you look out and see if maybe you can get access to futures. Swing trades and leap trades. This is kind of like my bread and butter. This is where I'm comfortable. I believe that this really sets people up to be able to enjoy other things if you have other things going on and you can't be in front of the screens all the time. Okay. Over here is just, I wanted to put, I just grabbed any sort of trade and showed you over here what our alerts look like. We do API alerts and we lead with these. And what that means is that there's no one that I'm aware of doing this. And what I mean by that is my brokerage and Melissa's brokerage account are linked to our Thinkorswim, right? Our alerts are linked to Thinkorswim and then they're linked to the room. So as soon as we take a trade, you get to see exactly what we're doing on here. It's going to tell you the quantity, it's going to tell you the type of setup. And in this case, this is where I took in 875 credit, then I bought it back for 420. I think this was just like the other day. So this is like a profit of around 400 bucks or so per contract. And what I love about this is you get to see everything in real time. There's no writing down the alerts, it's just sent to you like that. Okay. We'll talk about more of that a little bit later. So, leap options, this is one of my favorites. I have a lot of success in these. And what it allows is for flexibility, results, allows for freedom, reduced time decay, and allows for hedging. All of these things that I will teach you. Okay. Now, the second thing I think about, we have members from all over the world, and one of our members is an actual professional basketball player. And I always bring him up because him and I have talked, and this allows him. I said, you know, don't get in the way of the market. If you got things going on, you're at practice, you're doing your thing. Think about the freedom that leap trades can allow you. And when I say leap, I'm talking about buying options for more than 365 days, guys. All right, so I'm buying options. They're pretty expensive, but it's only a certain part of the allocation of my portfolio, but they are out 365 days. Okay. The next thing is I wanted to show you some before and afters because last time we met, I talked about leaps and I wanted to show you just some examples. I took Baba down here where the green zone is right here. And my target for 2025 was right here. And at the time, I had made 800%. And it made these guys right here free, the 200s. And we had 200s out of the money. And then we had at the monies or in the monies for a year out. And I just want to show you the results here. Look at the push through the 2025 target. We actually came very close to our target, and we still have quite a few months left. And so my target still for the end of the year is around 200 to 217 on these. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is Intel. This is one of my favorites. It really is. I bought this when it was here, not when it was up here. And then I want you to pay attention to this blueprint. Okay. This is our 2025 projection. Now, watch this. Notice where price went. I'm still in Intel, folks. So, and I could tell you that when I took this trade, not many people were thinking this would work out. And this baby, I mean, just the equity alone has went up almost 100%. So you can imagine that the contracts did really well. Okay. All right. So my next thing is I love to trade earnings. Okay. Earnings is a big deal. Matter of fact, I just sold my puts on Netflix this morning. And if you're a current member of the Master the Trade room here at Simpler, then you got to see that video. You know exactly what I bought. And I cashed in on those puts this morning. Here's my thing is a lot of people think that you can't trade earnings. They'll tell you something like, hey, you don't know what's going to happen. I'm here to tell you no matter what trade you put on, there's a possibility you will wake up in the morning and it not go your way. Matter of fact, anytime you put a trade on, folks, you have no idea what's going to happen. But I do like to channel Mark Douglas. We align our sevens up in the market, our technicals, then we put our money in to back that up. I'm trading technicals into earnings, and I have a special way of trading into earnings where I use debit spreads. Sometimes I'd go with just straight up calls and puts if it is makes sense from a risk to reward standpoint. Okay. These are just a couple examples over here. AVGO, 1300%, bought these at like a dollar, and they went to 19. And then over here, Goldman Sachs, we hit Goldman Sachs twice this year for profits. And I want you to pay attention once again. When we took this trade, we're looking for a move down into here first, and then our move up to here second. Okay. You'll notice, boom, price comes down to here. I get paid right there. Okay. Now I'm waiting for Goldman Sachs to start to move up. My calls are free. And that's how I set these earning trades up. That's what you have to understand. I set them up to where when this happens, I get paid, and then the call side is free, but it's got longer duration or expiration. Okay. And you'll learn more about that in the room. Okay. Here's just a quick setup. This is MU, one of my bigger trades this year. This is a trendy buy zone. Price came into here. I took a trade. You can see the result. Again, my focus, just so everybody understands, when I'm up here teaching, it's not about the money. All right. You can imagine that these things did well. What I don't want to do is entice you by thinking that just because I made X amount of money, that you can make X amount of money. That's how I got into, I guess, the passion that I have now is because I was led the wrong way. What I want to do is concentrate on how you can set up this setup and take this trade yourself. Okay. I'm going to teach you how to fish. All right. Moving on, this is SPY intraday. This is something considering using our indicator here, the PMZ. This is called the pre-market zone, one of the most popular indicators I have. It's been around for a good 10 years. It's very, very good. You understand your risk before taking the trade and you know where your reward is because we are going to show you how to get targets, or if you have the indicators, you already have automated targets to the upside. Okay. So in this case, I just want to show you, we went long here intraday with options, paid about price was at $656. And you can see here, we moved all the way up into the 662 level, made about 100% there on the options. And then I closed, and this was just a quick trade. Okay. So kind of like doing everything. And here's the futures screen. I love trading futures almost every single day. This is actually micros. And I love to teach micros because everybody wants to get into this thing where they make money really, really fast. But there's lessons to be learned. And there's nothing better, in my opinion, than to use micros. It's 1/10 the size of minis. And as you guys can see, you can still make money. I love buying the dip. I love using buy and sell zones. And I do short term, long term, and I could trade both micros or minis. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the trendy lifestyle. This is really important to me because I don't want everything just to be about trading. I want you to feel comfortable taking the trades and leaving for the day, or I want you to be comfortable with just hanging out with us in the community and taking trades right there in the room and continuously educating yourself to feel more confident and consistent. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do set and forgets, but that's not all. We're going to also show you how to do intraday and stuff like that and really fast trades. But define risk before you head out. That's really important. I remember when I first started, I wouldn't know. I'd follow somebody's trade and then, $2,000 down. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I don't ever want that to happen to you. And I feel really confident, Mel, that's not going to happen to our traders because we define our risk before we take our trades. Then, of course, confidence, consistency, and discipline is what you're going to get out of having this trendy lifestyle and this methodology. Now, Mel's going to take you into her type of trades that she executes.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Love seeing the charts, the before and afters. That's really cool. So, the types of trades I execute. Let me first start out by saying that every account challenge we have done, I reset my account. So, I saw a question come through the chat about what size trading account is recommended for the challenge. And I'm going to say that it really doesn't matter what size trading account you have because John might trade a larger account, but I always, every account challenge, reset my account to $5,000. Now I could do it with $2,000 or even $1,000. That is not the most important factor. You will see trades come across that if you have a small account, like me when I reset my account to the $5,000, you will see trades come across. I am buying at the money calls and puts from a cash account. This is very important. I do not trade spreads because I have a small account. I'm trading from a cash account, so I am not held by the pattern day trading rule. All right. I'm buying at the money calls and puts. And for my trades, I am trading names that those at the money calls and puts are affordable for my account size and my risk tolerance that John mentioned, an allocation amount that I am comfortable with. So that gives you a little background. At the money, calls and puts, I am buying and no spreads. I absolutely 100% day trade. I have already mentioned I have found a new love. I'm sorry for my husband of 35 years, 30, however long I've been married, 35 years. But my new love is day trading 0 DTE SPX. But I will also day trade other names like Apple or Nvidia, not Tesla itself, because those at the money calls or puts are too expensive for my small account. So I'll trade TSLL instead because it's affordable for a small account. So I love to day trade. I also love swing trading and leap trading as well. I do not do as many leap trades using options because, like John mentioned, some of those can be very expensive. And if I am, my goal is to be relevant to all size accounts. And so leap trades at the money are really not affordable for a small account, but equity trades or swing trades, buying out, 1, 2, 3 months. I love doing those types of trades as well. What I want you to understand is the trendy room is for any size account. Because look, if I take a trade and I'm buying at the money calls in Nvidia and they're $3 a piece and I'm buying three of them or two of them, and you have a large account, you like the trade idea, guess what? You can buy 20 or 30 of them. It's scalable. That's the main thing to understand. The number of contracts you're trading is not an issue in the trendy room because we trade all size accounts. All right, let's talk a little bit about SPX since that has been such a focus for me on day trading. With SPX, you see the PMZ up there. That is look, it's my favorite indicator. If I could only have one indicator on my chart, it would be the PMZ, without a doubt. I have very, very strict defined rules about taking trades from SPX. I like to buy the strikes. So in this case, for instance, I'm going to enter here on this break after a lower high. I'm going to enter here, and my strike down here, or my first target down here at 67.25, that's the strike I'm going to buy. All right. I have a defined risk to reward that if the risk to reward is not better than a 1 for 1, even in scalp trades that I'm in for 2 or 3 minutes, I don't care. I won't take the trade. It has to at least be a 1 for 1 risk to reward. And honestly, I would prefer a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Although with scalping, sometimes that isn't always possible. So it has to be better than a 1 for 1. So this first entry on SPX was a 6 point risk because my stop would have been a higher higher high. And my reward was 7.5. That's where I exited the trade and made quick $250, $300 there on one contract. The second scalp, though, was right back at this gold line that you see on the chart, the 67.25, that's a key Fibonacci level that Trendy John taught me years ago, and we still teach to this day. It's called the 618 to 887 trade. And it has a probability of working 85% of the time. So almost every time I get the opportunity to take this trade, I'm going to take it. So I entered the trade at 67.25. I had a risk of 2.5 points, and my reward was down there at 67.18, where I exited it for 5 points. This happens over and over every day in the SPX room. Another example, so those were both puts, right? Well, I trade it to the upside as well. I trade it both directions daily. Here I had a buy zone. It had a risk of 2.5 points. The reward was 7 and 12 points. So I trimmed at that 7 points and I exited at the 12 points. If you know anything about straight up calls on SPX, 12 points, guys, is going to be somewhere between $750 and $1,000 of profit per contract. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, just trading the zones. And here's the good news. I share my SPX chart all day long in the SPX room. So don't worry, I'm finding the zones. And then if you join the challenge, you're going to be a part of the trendy room and you're going to learn how to find these zones yourself, because our passion is to teach you how to fish and not just feed you fish. Another SPX day trade, risk 2.5, reward 5.5, in, out, boom. That was it. This is a 3-minute chart. So I was in, and I was in this trade a little longer than typical, about 9 minutes to exit for another 5.5 points right there. I'm not looking for home runs. Okay. I'm not going to be the trader that's going to go, hey, I made blah, 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 whatever percent. In my day trading, I'm looking for base hits. I'm focused on base hits because, in my opinion, a low risk, high reward trade base hit over and over again adds up. Here's an example of the day trade using Apple. This trade I entered for a price of $3.75 a contract. I only bought one contract. If you have a large account, you could buy 10 contracts. Doesn't matter. Size of the number of options I'm buying should not dictate the number of options you're buying. What should dictate the number of options you're buying is your set risk amount or your set allocation amount. So I bought one contract of Apple. Guess what? It made it to my target. I exited that one contract of Apple. Base hit. Easy trade though. Enter when price hit. See the green zone on this chart? This is a trendy buy zone. I waited for price to come into that trendy buy zone, then price to get over that cyan box, which is my favorite indicator, the good old PMZ. Price got above the PMZ, and guess what? I stayed in the trade as long at first target, as long as my break even wasn't hit, and I exited at the second target, mainly due to time of day. If you notice, 1:56 p.m., the market had about an hour till it closed, and I was like, nah, I'm good. This is only a day trade. I exited. That's part of my discipline, my friends. I don't only win. Here's alert, okay? I have losing trades. It happens. It happens with the PMZ indicator, even though it's my favorite indicator. I entered on a pullback to the PMZ right here. and a candle closed below the PMZ, and I stopped out. I entered the trade for 98 cents. I stopped out for 70 cents. I lost $28. It didn't work. But what I didn't do is go off kilter and not follow my plan and stay in the trade because I had hopium that it was going to eventually work out. No, I don't do that. I exited exactly according to my plan and I took the loss so that I can live to trade another day. And if there's nothing else you get out of the challenge, this is the type of discipline that John and I strive to teach you day in and day out. All right, swing trade, Bank of America. It's real simple. I told you the green zone right here, and we're going to teach you how to find these zones when you join us in this challenge. This is an entry from a trendy buy zone. This is a trim. This is my second trim. I had a break even stop, right? Because once I have collected some money from the market, I'm going to put in a break even stop, and my runner was stopped out. You can see the API alerts right here. The room got them as soon as I entered the trade. I bought 3 contracts at $1.50. I trimmed at 180. I trimmed at 201 and I exited the final contract when price came back to $1.50. Up next, TSLL. I told you I love to trade Tesla. I'm an equity holder of Tesla and have been for years. I love to trade Tesla, but it's not affordable for a small account for me to buy at the money. So instead, I trade the leveraged ETF, TSLL. On this day, I bought 4 TSLL contracts for $1.25 a piece. You can kind of see what my allocation is, right? That $500 right there. I bought 4 TSLLs at $1.25 a piece. I trimmed, I didn't put the API alerts for my trims in here because it would take up too much space, honestly. But I trimmed there at half my position at first target, half my position at second target. And because I was noticing that the market was looking like it was going to roll over, rather than staying in the trade and leaving the stop at break even, I told the room, look, I'm going to go ahead and exit TSLL here because it's at a key trendy level and the NASDAQ is in a sell zone. So we could see weakness in TSLL. Let's go ahead and exit. And that's what I did on that trade. BBAI. Haven't traded this thing in a while, but I love trading even small names. These I bought $4 calls here. BBAI came into the trendy buy zone where I bought 4 contracts at $1.30 a piece, and I trimmed along the way and exited up here. So I got in at $4.89 when price was at $4.89 because why? You see that blue line on that chart? That's that yearly edge I'm talking about. I love trading yearly edges. Price pulled back to that yearly edge, and I wanted to be a buyer there. Hit my buy zone. I entered it, and it almost doubled in price when we exited this trade. Went from $1.30 buy in to at the last exit. I trimmed along the way at the last exit, $3.30. Here's a loss on a swing trade. I followed all my rules. Guess what? Darn it, it lost. It's going to happen. I entered, I on a smaller time frame, I waited for confirmation in my buy zone. I had my plan. I felt confident about the trade. Did I over allocate? Nope, absolutely not. I didn't get so overconfident that I doubled down or anything silly like that because it wasn't part of my plan. I waited for confirmation. I entered the trade at $4 a contract or $400 a contract. My stop was here. This candle closed below my stop. I stopped out for $1.60 a contract and moved on from the trade. That's how I want all of you to treat your losses. I want you to follow your plan. And if you lose, no big deal. Move on and wait for the next setup. Leap trade. Remember the blue edge? Remember me talking about in April? I was so absolutely freaking ecstatic because in 2024, I'm going to tell you a secret. These names that I love to buy equity on, they did not pull back to lower yearly edges last year. But this year they did, and we were ready for it. I bought first at the lower yearly edge. I had a planned buy down here at $350, where we added to our equity positions. And then I trimmed and trimmed and trimmed along the way, and so now this thing is at low allocation because I have trimmed out. I trim out 25% of the shares that I own as price is going up. And then I will sit and wait for a significant pullback. And all these charts are provided ahead of time, guys. These aren't willy nilly, fly by the seat of your pants trades. I have a plan before I ever enter a trade, and then I execute that plan with discipline so that when we get to the end of this year, and if I am small allocated in these equity trades on the Mag 7 names, guess what? I stay small allocation until I get another significant pullback. Here's another leap trade. Um, I don't buy at highs. I absolutely do not buy calls or buy equity at highs. I wait for trendy levels. I bought first equity on RCAT at $6.50. I bought more equity on RCAT at $4.60. I had planned to buy more at $3.15, but price didn't come back here. So, what did I do? I bought the dip and then I trimmed at the predefined levels as price moved up all the way to $15, guys. I wasn't buying it at 13 or $15. I was buying it at 650 and 460. These are the types of trades that I want you to be able to be a part of. I want you to feel confident in being able to buy a dip and then execute a plan accordingly.
So real quick, the white lines, they are targets, and they are placed on there manually, and we will show you that in the room on how to do those.
Yep,
All right. Thank you, Mel. Thanks for going through those
absolutely.
trades. It's really good to see, validation and proof. And yes, Mel is showing you some of the trades she's taken, some of the winners, some of the losses. And now I'm going to tell you what I feel like the main problem with most trading mentors out there, at least my experience. I shouldn't say out there because I haven't really put myself out there because I don't need to, right? We're in the best room we can be in, but I will tell you that what sparked my fire was trading mentors and what they did that I felt was wrong and why we are different. So first, it was transparency. They just weren't transparent. I'll leave it at that. False hope. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of these different services. You know what I'm talking about when we talk about false hope. no process or alerts. This is really important. So I want to back up what you just said, Mel, when you said you're just not going out there and just throwing any kind of trade on. What I found was that a lot of mentors, that's what they do. You wake up in the morning and they're just like trading. And you're like, "Well, what is the process?" So when we win, I want to know how to like do that again. And they sometimes they hold that information, but you also find that there isn't anything there. They just took a trade and they won and, they want you to keep feeding off of that alert, right? But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna show you trade plans. We're gonna talk about them 90 minutes before the market opens. We're gonna get you prepped and ready to rock and roll, right? And we're gonna show you the proof of concept through our alerts. The alerts are there for proof of concept. And then too much noise. I talked about that before. I always think of like a room that I was in. I remember a long time ago, you got one person talking about RSI, the other one talking about VWAPs. There's multiple things going on. It's like, oh my God, like what do I listen to right now? In the trendy community, it's absolutely focused on trendy methodology. Everybody's talking about the golden pocket. Everybody's talking about trendy edges. Everybody's talking about the PMZ. So it is focused, and you're not going to be bothered by a bunch of noise. Okay. So the problem with traditional strategies, this is my favorite slide. I've been saying this for many years. If 95% of traders are failing and 95% of them are all using the same indicators and the same mindset and the same news channels and all the same things that you hear, unusual options activity, all that stuff, what is your edge in the market? If your indicator is free, then the chances are your competition is probably going to squash you. Move-in indicators versus trendy edges. Trendy edges are solid. They're stuck. They're there, and that's what gives us the edge. Melissa and I can look at them, and we can already know what our trade plan is going to look like. Hey, guys, price is moving down to the lower trendy edge. We want to get long here. Our stops are going to be this, and I'm trying to target up to, let's say, the golden pocket. Okay, you're going to hear that kind of terminology. Most of all, they need too many variables before executing. We do not. And a lot of times I'll go live and I take trades fast. And I show people how fast you can look at my scanner, push the button, boom, be in a trade, and understand exactly how to use our strategy. But just also, you don't need to be looking at a lot of different things. Trendy zones don't move just like the trendy edges. They allow for you to plan in advance. And that is definitely one of our edges that we have in the market. Now, I want to talk about the indicators real quick, tools that we use to make our job easier so that you kind of understand, but I want to put a disclaimer out there, guys. These are just a convenience. And as Mel said before, at the end of the day, like everything that we do, we're going to be able to show you. But once you are wanting to be advanced, or if you already want to be advanced and have the indicators on your charts, I want to go over them really quickly. Okay. So the trendy edges identify trendy buy and sell zones. They're already on the charts. We have multiple time frames, 4 of them, and each edge makes it simple for traders to identify whether or not they want to be in a trade for a couple days to a couple weeks to a couple months, and those blue edges that you're talking about, Mel, for up to 6 months to a year. Okay? That's where like for me the big money comes from, all right? And that's what they look like. This is an upper edge. This would be your sell zone, and you could turn it on. It actually turns into a zone. And down here would be your buy zone, and that would actually you could turn on the cloud, and it makes a zone as well. Okay. Next one is trendy bands. These are EMA clouds. What I always tell people what makes them special is they have these little green and red arrows. As a matter of fact, we did a segment not too long ago, Mel, where we went back, and I think we went back since the inception of the market, and the trendy green arrows work 90% of the time, folks. Like these indicators are badass. I'm just going to put it at that. I believe in them. I love them, or I wouldn't be up here showing them to you. Okay. PMZ, like she said, one of the famous PMZ's songs. There's a country artist out in Tennessee that actually made a song on this. It's got my voice recorded in the back. It's pretty cool. I love this thing, and I think it should be on everybody's chart. It's easy to understand. It defines the risk before you take a trade, and it's just as simple as one, two, three. All right, and we'll learn more about it in the room. The challenge of the year, let's talk about it. What's our mission? To empower you to become confident, consistent, and disciplined. I've said that about 4 times tonight. What you get 90 minutes of prep, 7 a.m. Central every single morning. Live trading every single morning. Journal 3 p.m. Central every trading day. So after the market closes, Mel and I are going to basically have a breakout session with you where we sit down and we talk about the trades we did so that we can learn from them. Whether it was a profitable trade or whether it was a loser, we're going to go over them and basically get up there and show you exactly why we did something. And, that will be our proof of concept there. Thursday, I want to do this happy hour, 7 p.m. Central. Every Thursday night during the challenge, we're going to do a happy hour. And this is going to be like, hey, you guys show up, right? And we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about what happened during the week, and we're going to talk about just personal things. You're going to get to know us. But one thing I'm going to say is we're not doing happy hour on Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, guys. So I think so that Thursday is off limits. We're not doing that. Um, but I'll see you the next day. Okay. And trendy zone trading is the edge you are looking for. I feel very confident about that. And your key takeaways today, guys: consistency, discipline, live teaching, transparency, education, managing risk, journaling, and all of that. So I'm going to ask you, are you ready to trade with us and learn all of this, but also find consistency in your trading? And I know that's what you want. Now, the trendy 30-day trading challenge, I want to talk through this with you really quickly. So, for $197, which is already a huge discount, you're going to get everything I talked about: API alerts, daily videos, daily Q&A with John and Melissa, premium newsletter from Simpler Insights, Simpler Showcase Room, which is another trading room, and then you get the mobile app as well. Then you get the 30-day challenge, the trendy trading plan sessions, which we talked about. What you do not get is we have a class that's very popular. You will not get the supply and demand system class that teaches you how we just basically define everything. Okay. And then the trendy script bundle, these are my indicators. You do not get those with this price right here. And this is just for the month. Okay. Over here on the Pro, we have everything that I just mentioned, but you do get the supply and demand system class. Real quick, on this one for $547, I always say this with you, and I mean this. If we were doing a 90-minute consultation, and I used to do these when I owned Trendy Trading before I came to Simpler, I charged $699 for every 90 minutes. In this, you're getting a quarterly package. You're getting everything we talked about, plus the challenge, plus the planned sessions, plus all the education and the supply and demand system. It's absolutely, to me, insane for $547. Okay. Now, let's take it a step forward. The elite package. I know that we have a lot of members here who are waiting for these specials. And for this one, we are going to throw in, please listen to this. We are going to throw in everything. That means the indicators as well. That means the class, our sessions, the challenge, everything we talked about for $2,997. And just so everybody understands, my indicator suite bundle is already $3,000. So, how do you want to look at this? You're either getting a full entire year for free or you're getting my indicators for free. Okay. And, I'm looking at this, Mel, and I feel like we're missing like something really big because you keep bringing up the SPX room and how you're involved in it. And I'm just
Uh-oh.
not, yeah, and I'm just now noticing there's nothing on here with the SPX room. So I think what I think I think I'm gonna throw Simpler a curveball.
Oh no, what are you gonna do, dude?
I'm like, should I text first? Should I text? What should I do, guys? Um, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna make this up right now. I hope some of our members have my back right now. I'm gonna throw in the SPX room for absolutely free if you buy the Elite. How's that sound?
Dang, I
Hey, it's
love
up to
it.
hey,
What?
it's the trendy room. Like, we came here and we provide. I'm gonna throw in the SPX room for free. But
Wow.
I probably need to put some kind of like time restraint on this. We need to do 48 hours, just like the good movie back in the day. So 48 hours, guys. If you want this deal, you need to pay for this. I can go over it with you right now. The trendy class itself is hundreds of dollars. The indicators are $3,000. The SPX room is like what was the last special? 697 or something like that for the year. I'm gonna give it to you for free because I could see that everybody in this chat room wants to see what Melissa's doing when it comes to SPX. And if you guys were in there and you were like sitting on the fence and you're like, what should I do this? Pay for the elite, guys. I, I'm not going to promise you anything, but if I can't show you how to make $3,000 very quickly, I'm going to be pretty surprised. If I can't, if you don't want to spend this kind of money yet, there's a special. Just listen to me real quick. Okay. So we're going to move over here. We can go into this right here. If you're on the fence, PayPal has interest free payments for 6 months. Is it 6 months or a year, Mel?
6 months.
6 months, zero interest. You're going to use this right here. Simplertrading.com/TR3NDY/challenge. Okay. And you could do the math on that, guys. This is absolutely a phenomenal price for everything. And you get to spend an entire year with us. All right.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I think it,
I
I
love
think
it.
yeah, I think it is too, but I can tell that people here are like pumped and ready to trade and like find something that they feel really good about. And guys, I said passion like 100 times tonight. I sincerely mean it. You're getting two people who really care about your success in trading. Um,
I'm just thinking back to myself 3 years ago. Guys, let me tell you something.
she gonna throw me under
John.
the bus, man. She
Yeah,
paid
I
three.
am.
She paid 3 grand for the indicators.
I paid more than that for the indicators,
Yeah, you
John.
probably
You
did.
were
Yeah.
selling it for more than that. So, yeah. I
Yeah,
was like,
a
"Wait a minute."
and I sold my indicators, guys, to institutions. So institutions have bought my indicators for over $10,000 easily. And one of the institution, or I should say hedge fund, the hedge funds that bought my indicators, I was gonna sell for 25,000 just because they're making so much money. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not giving it to you what we give at retail. So guys, anyways, $2,997, absolutely phenomenal. Um, I wouldn't even mess around with the other stuff. That's just me.
And for any trendy members, call support. They will work out something for you if you want the elite package, but you already have the script bundle.
Yeah, yeah. And if you guys have any questions, that's the other thing. When I've my experience with services is that the support itself, and you can find this on Trustpilot. Our support here is amazing. And so it's just not about Mel and I. We have a huge team behind us, and you're part of Simpler Trading. Like, we have support
Mhm.
staff who take phone calls and talk to you and like take care of you. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to them. Their number is 512-266-8659, and
And
their
they're there
email.
right now.
Yeah, they're there right now, and again, guys, I literally need to you see me looking up here, that's because I am messaging our support and letting them know that I just threw this in here. All right? So, the SPX room was not part of the plan, but if you guys want it and you want all of this, that means you get me and Melissa, all of this stuff for an entire year. I would just tell your significant other that this was the deal of a lifetime. Hey, and it's an early Christmas gift. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's an early Christmas gift. So,
That's awesome.
all right. So what's you want to do some Q&A, guys, or how you guys feeling?
Yeah, guys, on the screen, there's a Q&A tab. If you have any questions, put those questions not in the regular chat. Click that Q&A and type us some questions in there. That'll make it easier for me.
Yeah.
What time does support open in the morning? It is 8 a.m., but they're open right now. You can call them right now. I got a question for you, John. You ready?
Okay, sure.
All right. Uh, Mark asked John, and it's John as in JC. was talking about a real estate correction like 2008 and possibly take it all down. There is a lot more leverage in the system than 2008, 2009, and that was about a year ago. What are you seeing?
What am I seeing? My I just bought an investment property that I closed on. I got it for my grandson, who you might have saw in the picture earlier, and my oldest daughter. And I'm really proud to do that. And what I see is just like the stock market. I am not disclaimer. I have nothing to do with real estate. Like I'm not going to give you that advice from a financial standpoint. But for me personally, it's just like the stock market. How many times have people said that the stock market's at a high? Yeah, you know what I mean? So for me, it's all about risk to reward. How much did I pay for the house? I'm happy about it. So I'll tell you how I feel. I feel damn good that I bought a house. I did it for the right reason, and it's something that I want to pass on generations from now. So
Awesome. Next question is a supply and demand system class the classes that you guys did this past spring.
yes.
It is. Uh, Carlos asks, I was wondering if Melissa will be teaching a class on how she trades SPX.
Is she going? Well, that is in the cards. Yeah, that is the idea. I definitely want her to teach that to you all. Yeah, but
Um,
but I will say, if you're listening in every morning, you're gonna know the plan and stuff. She's not gonna go over like a class then, but yeah, we do definitely have a plan for that.
all right. Steve asked, Mel, will we need to be in the rooms all morning to catch the education of the challenge, or will the teaching be specific parts of the morning?
That's a great question. So we are always going to educate in the morning, but with our rooms, you get a recording. So if you're wanting to go back every single day, you're going to have the recording. It uploads and then you can watch it to get the education. But Melissa and I are planning on, like I said, we're going to do a happy hour every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. So that's a time for you to come in and learn as well. And I'm sure Mel and I, we always do some sort of breakout. We have Q&A, so that is time that we teach as well. So you're going to get a lot of that.
Yep. Lots of teaching, guys.
Mhm.
Uh, Behaven says, John, you were talking about trading with you in person. Is there any plan for that?
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, this desk is getting lonely, and we used to actually do that. And I am definitely open to it. I wanted to do a couple more checks with Simpler and make sure everything's like good to go on that end. But yeah, I'm definitely open to it. Matter of fact, there was an investment property, a good friend of mine that owns a house right here at the end of the water. Who was renting it out. My first thought was like, man, let me rent this thing for like 2 years and just create something over there. So it's definitely on the top of my mind, and I want to
I'm
do it.
ready for it.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go.
Melissa lives in Florida too, guys. If I don't know if she said that earlier, but we both live in Florida here. So it's a great place to vacation, best seafood ever, and it's a great area. So
Rob asks how many indicators are in the bundle.
yeah, so in the indicator bundle, you get trendy turn signals, all right? The trendy buy and sell signals that are part of the EMA cloud. So the EMA cloud comes with all of that built into it. Then you get the trendy edges that find the buy and sell zones. And then we have the PMZ. So I think there's five of them, but understand with those five for Thinkorswim, you also get the like scanners that go in your watch list, and those are super cool. Those tell you like what names are at what edges, whether it's the upper edge or lower edge,
Mhm.
and what names are like in the PMZ and setting up and stuff. So it's all right here. I've built it so that you don't have to do anything but look at the chart.
Yeah, awesome. Um, this is a great question. How often do you update the indicators?
Yeah, that is a great one because we take a lot of pride in it. We have never updated the indicators. I added the trendy turn signals, and I want to give a little story on that because not a lot of people know this. When I came to Simpler, I really wanted to fit in, right? John had reached out to me and he was interested. I got bought out. That's how I'm here. And I said, I need to really fit in here because I don't necessarily trade the squeeze. I trade zones. And so I studied the squeeze and I use the trendy turn signals. Those are a compression basically of the squeeze, and that lets me know when we're setting up far as the trendy methodology is concerned. So yeah.
Awesome. Here's a question from McGar said that they called support, told there's no special for me because he already, or she, sorry, already has a trendy room, the indicators and SPX alerts, but's going to confirm and call me back tomorrow. Is there no specials for existing members with everything? The special is going to come in that you can uh, update or resubscribe up your membership for these mucho discounted prices. But I'm sure that support will call you back tomorrow
What yeah,
and
100%. They're
get it
gonna they're
all
gonna
worked
talk
out.
to 'em yeah, they'll work with you on the phone for sure. Don't be concerned. They'll
S-
have something for you.
Sander is asking about the bots that you created, John. Don't know if
Mhm.
you want to tackle that.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to make this webinar about it, but yeah, I created some bots and they're running really smoothly. And our subscribers who are subscribed to the bot will be turned back on to the Ironfly bot. We are looking at either Friday or Monday. It's doing very, very well. We had some updates on it. And the PMZ bot is right around the corner. And hopefully we'll have a beta on PMZ probably in the next week or so. So I'm pretty pumped. Actually, tomorrow I go on the beta for the PMZ. So I'm really pumped about that.
Um, I think we got them all answered. Yeah. Hey, Mirza and Lorna, thank you so much for answering so many of those questions because they were
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah,
Does the trendy
exactly.
window indicator work on Trading View?
So TradingView does not have like any sort of scanner like not that I'm aware of. It's never changed. It's always been that way. The indicators are on TradingView, but not any sort of not the scanners or anything like that. So what I've heard in the past is a lot of people just get like Thinkorswim for the indicators that are in that position, but they're trading, say, off of TradingView.
Awesome. I think owner's question, Mirza or Lorna. Yep, Lorna's answer in there. Uh, Slacker is asking, how will you coach on journaling? Do you want me to tackle that one?
Yeah, yeah, please. Hmm.
Journaling's a huge passion for me, so I will go like step by step, Slacker. I'm going to show you in real time what my journal entry looks like for any specific trade. I believe that you don't just journal where you enter a trade, where you exit a trade, was it profitable? All of that's great information and it's all in my journals. But my journals also deal with the emotions that we have while we're in trades. And so I'm constantly, here's my journal. It's always sitting next to me. All right. You can't really see it because it's blurred out, but it's always sitting next to me. And I am a firm believer that if you're just journaling the technical details of profit and loss and that sort of thing, you're missing out on the biggest factor, and that is the emotions you were feeling during the trade. And did you allow those emotions to cause you to do something different in your trades? So we will go over each journal entry and what we, John and I, have in our journal about those trades each day.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I plan on being there as well, taking Melissa's journal session class because it's only going to make me that much better as well.
Um, can John,
Yeah.
can you share your screen and show what the scanner watch list looks like?
So I would love to. I don't know if anyone noticed, but my screen's back here, at least for me. Anybody else? I turned off Thinkorswim this afternoon and they are not updating. They had some issues,
Oh,
right, with their option chain today.
okay.
And let me see.
I can share
Yeah, if
mine.
yeah, go ahead. I will I think you can share as well. Let me see if I can
I
take
should be
mine
able.
off.
Let's see.
Let's see. There you go. Yeah,
All
mine's
right.
still updating.
Can you guys see it? Check,
I
check.
I can. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Just make it, whoops, wrong way. So here you go.
I see ES and NASDAQ.
You see ES and NASDAQ?
I do. Yeah.
Ah, that's the wrong screen.
So
Hmm.
go back up there where it says share screen and just
I obviously chose the wrong one, huh? Is that what you're telling me?
maybe. Yeah.
I'll try it again.
Okay.
Do you see it now?
Yep. Yep. We see it.
Okay.
Yep.
Here's the scanner. So you're not going to see anything pop up in the PMZ scanner right now because the market isn't open. But during the trading day, when these names that are on my watch list, okay, these are the names I like to trade out of the PMZ. When they are in the PMZ, you're going to have a yellow box pop up right here. If price is slightly above the PMZ, it'll be a green box, and if price is slightly below the PMZ, it'll be a red box. That means I can quickly click on Apple and see where it is in relationship to the PMZ and if I want to take the trade. Then for the edge scanner, I love this one. Okay. I absolutely love it. I've actually used it and built out, and this is when I mainly use it, an edge scan for yearly edges. So this is going to pop up names that are at their yearly edges. This is the one I love to use when I'm looking at like BITO right now is at a yearly lower edge. So if this was a name that I wanted to leap trade, I would click on there. But each one of these colors boxes indicate what edge they're at. So the pink one means it's at a monthly edge, the blue means yearly edge, the yellow a weekly edge, and the orange a daily edge. But I have these set up to scan for yearly edges as well as daily edges. Like if I just wanted to trade something that's at, say, I wanted to go long and I wanted something at a daily lower edge, the scanner does it for me and pulls those names up. If I wanted to trade a firm, I can click on it and set up my trade plan. So I love the new Edge scanner. And of course, I've said it enough. I love the PMZ scanner as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And thanks for sharing that, Mel.
You
We
got it.
and by the way, I think they answered, but yeah, it's a 30-day challenge. We're starting on the 30th. So I think that's perfect timing. You guys have 48 hours to get this elite package, you get everything you want. And this is going to give you a good week for prep just to come in and hang out with us and do your thing and know exactly how to get everything in order. And then next Wednesday, we have another webinar. It'll be a spinoff of this webinar. And right after that day, we start our challenge. So this will get you guys in the groove. I look at this like a week early. You get to hang out with us and kind of see how everything goes.
And don't forget, John, on that little bonus special that you threw out there at the end,
Oh,
48
yeah.
hours, guys. 48
Yeah.
hours, and that ends that bonus SPX room.
Yes. And that's what they told me, by the way. So 48 hours you have if you guys want all of that.
You
Okay.
cleaning your desk, dude, or what do you
I
got going
am.
on?
Yeah. You know how I've like OCD, man. I see my fingerprints and I'm like, okay, let's clean that up. So yeah, guys, and I again, I want to say thank you for everyone coming out. I want to now. It's going to be a little bit longer night for me. I'm going to go out and see my daughter. I haven't got to see her. It's her birthday today. Been working away here at the screens, and I'm going to get away and go meet her.
Real quick, John.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. No, no, go ahead.
Irish wants to know what is the challenge part in the name?
What is
So
the
say
challenge?
it one more time. Our challenge is about
Yep.
creating.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Confidence, consistency, and discipline. We're not going to put a number on it, but again, past results don't mean future results. Last time we did this, we grew 85% Mel, right? And again,
Yes. Mhm.
that's not a guarantee. We're not putting a number out there. This is my thing. I want to under promise, over deliver. Like that's what I'm going to do. There's a lot we're giving to you. So my promise is that we will be here for you. We will bring that consistency and that confidence to you, but I'm not going to sit here and promise you that it'll be the easiest journey or that you're going to make money, but I feel pretty damn good we're pretty consistent. So I'm just going to put it at that in any market condition. So yeah. And I want to answer real quick because people kept asking about margin accounts. So Mel and I uh, trade, fairly small for any, um, I guess, account. Even I do, even though my account's larger. But there are also some trades I take that may be a little bit larger. But I'll tell you that like 95% of the people can follow along with what I'm doing. So just so you know. All right. Are we good?
I think we're
We
good,
get the
dude.
thumbs up. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the morning. If you guys are already signed up and you're going to be there in the morning, please give a shout out in the morning in the chat room and let us know you're brand new. We want to welcome you to the room, and we'll see you then. Okay. Thank you so much. Have an amazing Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday Eve. Have a good one.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Simpler. Appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Much
All right.
love to all of you.
Yes.